Okay, we're gonna try it again. So, as I was saying, since this thing screwed up last time pretty bad, I was actually rewatching the video and the got halfway through it and the sound just went to static. So I don't know what the heck. So I'm gonna go over it again real quick. Try to I already know what I'm gonna say, so I already done it once, so I can make it. I can actually cut it down a little bit. So. All right, we have two settings here that we like to that I like to shoot in. Usually it's manual, and I usually shoot in auto sometimes. Just depends on what situations that I'm shooting in, lighting, environment, whatnot. Um, low light, low lighting conditions, I usually shoot manual. Just because I can control my ISO, I can control almost every aspect about it. The only thing that I have to change when I shoot manual is my speed flash light compensation. And the light compensation is the plus and minus buttons right here. Those buttons. That is your speed flash light compensation buttons. I'm sure, as you know, going up increases the brightness, going down decreases the brightness, depending on how far I'm shooting away. And usually when I shoot in manual, low lighting, like I shoot sports and stuff like that in manual, like in gyms, I'm using my big lens, my 200 millimeter lens. I'll go over this real quick. Um, Automatic settings. This is my basic automatic settings right here. I shoot, when you turn on your camera and you turn on automatic, you have your mode button. I push my mode button until the TTL and VL comes up on the screen. I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to show you. I got too much light, but anyways, you kind of get the idea. The TTL and VL would be the top left corner. After that, that's your mode. Okay. Usually when I'm shooting an auto with, now this is with my 55 millimeter lens. Usually when I'm shooting auto, I shoot with 35 millimeter, and my flash compensation is usually set to 0.0. That's if I'm just kind of shooting normal pictures like around or whatever, and minimal lighting to fluorescent light. Like if you were going to shoot pictures at like City Hall or something like a firefighter banquet, that would be a really ideal setting to shoot with. Another thing is, I rarely shoot manual with my small lens. Uh, no particular reason, I just don't like doing it. Let me go over some of these other modes that, I mean, as far as like, the only thing I really changed when I shoot in auto, I never really changed the 35 millimeter from the speed flash. All I usually change is my flash compensation, depending on like the picture that comes up in my view screen. If it's a little dark, I'll pop it up a couple of notches. I say, hey, let me take that, retake that again. It didn't come out so well. Another thing is manual shooting. Manual shooting, I like shooting in manual for low light situations because I can control, like I said earlier, I can control like my ISO better. I can increase or decrease my aperture, my speed on my camera, and everything. I can get the best picture shooting in manual than I can shooting in automatic. Especially if I'm shooting in low lights, like I said a while ago. And manual, I'll tell you the settings I like to shoot. Like for those baby pictures, I probably would have shot them in manual just because it looked kind of like it was a little bit low lighting, and I had to get my Dr. Pepper fix. Um, you can shoot in manual, and that low lighting effect would have been would look really good in manual, because what I would do is if I was shooting with my 55 millimeter lens in manual, what I would do is I'd probably um, try to close down my aperture. I'm sure you know how to do that if you're shooting in manual. If not, let me know. I'll explain how to do that. I'm sure you know how to increase or decrease your speed, and like so. If you don't know how to do that, I'll explain how to do that. Manual mode settings. Same mode, same thing, 35 millimeter, because I'm shooting with my 18 to 55 millimeter lens, and 35 millimeter is kind of like right in the center. So I usually try to keep my flash just about that way. So if I'm zoomed in or zoomed out, either way, the only thing I really have to change is my compensation on my speed flash. In manual, I still shoot TTL, BL, and my flash compensation is still set at 0, and I adjust that as needed. Another thing is like, obviously you know that these little dudes here rotate very nicely, like that. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. For those like casting the shadows, I noticed you had some pictures that had shadows. Shadow reduction is a little tricky. Usually, like shooting straight up, like this. See how that's like that? Shooting straight up. I don't necessarily like to shoot straight up because what happens is that you wash out the top of your picture. Like for example, if I'm sitting here and you shot me straight up, all the top of my head would be all nice and shiny. The only way you can actually fix that is to reduce that by changing your flash compensation to negative. Another way to do it would be take your camera, like so, and aim it like this. And what I like to do to get those nice soft pictures without the brightness blowing up your whatever your subject is I like to bounce it off 2 walls. Like if I'm shooting this way, I got a wall here, and then I have my ceiling. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to bounce it off this wall, bounce it off my ceiling, and let it come back down. So basically, I'm bouncing it off 2 areas to reduce or to soften that light, where I still get good light, but it's just nice and soft. It kills the shadows completely. You don't have like that overexposure of your subject. And if you use like Photoshop or whatnot, like I use Photoshop and I have GIMP, and GIMP is a free program. I'll go in and I'll just kind of adjust the exposure a little bit just to play with it some, and make sure I can get all my settings and the the color correction and all that kind of stuff. But those are the 2 most important things to cutting shadows: angle of your speed flash, and try shooting off multiple subjects like walls. Like if you have a certain wall, try bouncing it off 2 walls. Biggest thing is don't bounce it off the ceiling and then bounce it off the wall, because then you'll get a foreground shadow coming back at you. It's kind of nuts, but you're thinking about it. But you can get this foreground shadow coming back at you, and then the people will look kind of weird in your pictures. So try to shoot it off the wall subject behind, or the wall behind your subject, and off the ceiling and back down, and it should look really nice. If I have a couple photos, I'll post them on your Facebook explaining the differences, and showing you the difference as like the things that I've shot using those techniques. So I don't know if you have any more questions. If you have any questions on your settings or whatnot, as far as your manual settings, your ISO settings or whatnot, I'll see what I can do to hook you up and to fill you out on whatever. If you want me to take some sample photos, I can take some sample photos for you and showing differences with my test subject here, Tony. Tony is my test subject. I use this little guy, and I was going to say in the last video that I didn't get to put in this video, and I'm going to try to cut it short because I'm running out of time. Use a subject like this, like a doll or something, and put it somewhere where you can shoot pictures, and try different flash orientations and angles and stuff like that. So, because then you'll be able to take those and see how you got that picture and the color, and you'll be able to apply it to your other pictures too. So, if you have any more questions, hit me on Facebook, respond to this video, and I'll see what I can do as far as either making another video or getting you some samples or give you any instructions. Cool. Have a good day.